Hello YouTube, Zilla here, and I'm gonna one of these days remember I gotta look at the camera. In any case, I want to thank everybody again for watching my previous Z-Vlog entry, and let me know what you thought of that. And I'm here with another one. Now I was asked to tell a little story about how I met my wife. Now I kind of dig this one. See, my wife and I, we met in a very 21st century way on the internet. We're both fans of a wrestler by the name of Rob Van Dam. If you're familiar with professional wrestling, you no doubt recognize the name. In any case, way back in, oh wow, when was this? This would have been about 2006, 2007. Rob Van Dam started an online forum for his fans. And I joined it, obviously, and one of the other people that joined was somebody by the username of Red Queen. And Red Queen was a very educated person, helping us translate some of the fan letters we got in French, among other things. And so, we had a lot of conversations. Eventually, both of us became admins of the site, and then eventually she had some friends. I was living in Buffalo at the time, Buffalo, New York, and she had some friends living in Rochester that were going to get married. And she was looking for kind of a way to save money on hotels and that sort of thing. And so she says, hey, can I, crash with you? Because Buffalo, Rochester, not that far away. And of course I went, sure, why not? So, that's when she came out to Buffalo. We hung out, and one night we're sitting there, we're watching WrestleMania. And the subject comes up about how I used to train to be a professional wrestler, which is, it's part of the reason why my back is so ralphed up, is I was training to try to be a professional wrestler myself. And so we were talking about, how wrestling works and that sort of thing. And she brings up this thing. She says, that guy Chris Masters. I don't know if there was a wrestler by the name of Chris Masters, aka the Masterpiece. And his finishing move was basically an elevated full Nelson. And she says, well, I don't see how a full Nelson, is an effective finisher, or why that would hurt or anything. And I said, well, it all depends on how you apply it. You see, he's applying it in a slightly different way. And she says, what do you mean? I said, well, with your permission, I'll demonstrate. And so I showed her how basically a full Nelson normally works. And then I showed her. I said, now what we're going to do is we're going to stand up, and I'm going to show you why Chris Masters does his full Nelson the way that he does. And what he does is he actually lifts a person up in a full Nelson, and really cinches it in. And so I did that, and I hurt her neck and upper back in the process. And I was like, I apologized about it, and I said, hey, look, I can. I know a couple of shoulder rubs that'll take care of that. And, so I start rubbing her shoulders, and one thing led to another. And, a couple days later, she's asking me if it's okay if she's looking at wedding dresses. I mean, there was actually no official, even sort of discussion about it. We just sort of knew, based on many of the conversations we had, that day and prior, that it was going to happen. We were going to get married, and although it's actually interesting because, I always kind of figured if I was going to get married, I wanted to be kind of traditional about it, but I never actually proposed to her until the night of the rehearsal, the day before our wedding. My mom comes up to me and she gives me my grandmother's wedding ring. Says, here, I want you to have this. And I turned around, I call everybody together, and I say, hey, something I want to do that I haven't done yet. I said, I told the whole story that I just told you about how we met and how we pretty much always knew it was meant to be. And I mentioned this, and at no point did I ever actually propose to my wife, or at the time, my girlfriend, fiance, whatever you want to say. So that's when I got down on one knee, pulled out my grandmother's ring, and asked her to marry me the night before our wedding, because I can't stand rejection, and so. But yeah, that's pretty much how I met my wife. It all started with putting her in a full Nelson. Now I don't recommend this technique. I can't recommend this technique as reliable. Do not put your crush in a full Nelson, unless she explicitly consents to being put in a full Nelson. Consent is important, but. Yeah, I mean, she's the only woman I could have done that with. And there are a couple other amazing things about that whole thing, like the fact that we got married, sort of in the middle of the South, sort of, well, not the South, but, heart of America. We were married in, a little town called Ponca, Nebraska. And she's black and I'm not black, as you can tell. So, for an interracial marriage to be happening sort of in the heartland of America was itself kind of cool. And at the end of it all, to pay homage to my Jewish heritage, I did break a glass and had the entire congregation saying Mazel Tov. So, a lot of great, wonderful things came out of, my marriage. Most importantly, I got married to a wonderful, very supportive woman, and I love you very much, my dear. And, but, it's really awesome that I met her, and I'm really glad I did, Well, that's my Z-Log entry for the day, man. I want to thank you definitely very much for watching. And if you haven't already, I do hope you choose to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.